What immediately made you lose a crush on someone? Littered while we're out for a walk. Up till that point, I didn't realize littering was a hard stop deal breaker. Turned out he killed and mutilated cats. I like cats. Edit. Just woke up and wanted to add some clarity. I had a crush on this guy in high school and he moved off away for college. I never dated him or anything. I just found out about it when the news came out after his arrest. Learning that he was rude to restaurant servers. Respect instantly lost. My crush, whom I had never talked to before, walked by and sneered at my clothes, saying I looked like I shopped at a thrift store. I just blinked and said that I did, in fact, shop at thrift stores. The next week, however, I was working as a cashier and saw him come into my line with his mom and a net card to pay for groceries. He froze when he saw me and turned bright red. I didn't say anything to him about it, but I just had the biggest eating grin on my face as I scanned and bagged his stuff. He never bothered me again after that. But I sure lost my lady boner for his poser ass. Very recently, we made plans and she had to reschedule last minute. 3 times. Within a week and a half. She was actually a manager of mine. She did my interview and was like 9 months younger than me. I was 21 and she was 20. She was the only manager at this store. There were 4 of us. Her and 3 sales associates. We all hung out on a regular basis and constantly drank together, so eventually we got pretty close, even though she had a BF and she literally told me while we were driving in my car, just the 2 of us, that she has literally cheated on every single boyfriend she has ever had. Leading to the realization of why we were getting so much closer so quickly, lol. Immediately turned away from that one. When she started dating a guy and she looked really happy with him. She had sex with my sister. This is the kind of thing I think is hot, then I come and all of a sudden the shame comes rushing in. My HS crush became a drug addict and now doesn't have any eyebrows. We were at a party. Had been into each other for months. But were never anything official. But she was kind of stringing me along now that I look back. Hit the dance floor together and were making out shortly after. I had to take a quick bathroom break and grabbed both of us another drink. Headed back and found her making out with some other guy. Gave the drinks to someone nearby. And left her there. She called and left me a bunch of messages asking where I went. Acting like nothing happened. But I didn't reply. A few days later I finally replied to her and told her what I saw. I said I was done being constantly led on and it wasn't something I was going to pursue anymore. She claimed she was just drunk. And I was the only one she even remembered kissing, lol. Next time there was a party, she begged me to come out. But I told her I had a date that night. She was not happy. That date ended up being the best thing for me and I'm married to that girl 10 years later. After several dates, he started to call me the wrong name. After several dates, she finally told me her real name and age, 13 years older than advertised. To be fair, she could pull it off. Obligatory. Whoa. RIP inbox. It's really true though. She was a total nut. Story time. She also asked me take a feral cat that she had been feeding in her neighborhood in as a house cat after like the second date. It seemed to be going okay. So of course I was like sure. Had fleas and all over my couch. The day after I broke it off, that kitty went back to being an outside kitty where he belonged. Found out she's a drama queen and talks about her best friends behind their backs and act like the closest realest friends whenever they hang out together. Whenever we meet she would be constantly glued to her phone. Which is kinda annoying considering she would often take a day or more to reply back to any messages. So I try to keep my distance. But she would just randomly drop a text just to talk about the drama in her life and just generally complain about anything. Underrated comment. Taking forever to text back while always clinging to their phone when you see them is the most glaring sign of disinterest. She said she didn't believe in the Holocaust. When I asked her why she didn't believe it happened, she responded with, "Someone told me a really good reason once. But I don't remember. I am still dumbfounded to this day. Me. 18. Are you sure I'm not too young for you? Him. 29. Don't worry about that. I've dated younger. We were texting. He was at a wedding reception. I asked how it was. He commented that it was ugly and crappy because according to him the father of the bride didn't have a good job and was poor. Saying something like her dad's only a teacher, or something along those lines. I forgot the exact words. When the girl I was crushing on kept telling me how much she hates drama, yet kept somehow telling me stories about all the drama she was involved in. Also, she kept asking me if I had any juicy gossip about our mutual friends as she wanted to know everyone's dirt. Immediately made her way less attractive and I eventually lost interest in her altogether. I hate drama is the biggest, most reliable indicator that the person who spoke that line is swimming in drama. She asked me to help her get a job where I worked as a tutor, so I did. I would have done it anyway without the crush as I thought she would be suited to working in the job. After 4-5 weeks she was still incredibly bad at the job. Her marking was all over the place and due to my role in the company it was my job to speak to her about it. Fast forward to the next week, she comes into work at 3 in the afternoon after drinking half a bottle of vodka and openly admitting it like a badge of honor. I told her that she can't work and she needs to go home and I'll just tell our boss that you're ill. She refused and walked past me to sit down and do her job, which she naturally did incredibly badly and was found out within about 2 minutes. I lost all respect for her that day. Not a full-blown crush, but the beginnings of one. They spread a rumor I was gay. Yeah. Nope. Maybe they wanted you to prove them wrong with your penis. She insisted that rich people get to act like heads and treat other people like because they were rich. She was not a rich girl, she waited tables at the time. I asked her if she ever had rude customers and how that made her feel. She said it didn't bother her as long as the people belittling her were rich. Blew my mind. Ah. The economic submissive. I had a crush on a girl that lived down the street from my friend. I walked home from school within one day and she walked about 50 feet in front of us. She walked past a house and a little dog came happily running up to the fence. She turned and started kicking the fence and harassing the dog. It ran off looking terrified. I can't stand people that mistreat animals. I had a crush on my next door neighbor. She and I started to hang out more and my crush intensified. Then one day we were in a Jimmy John's drive-thru. She put in her order and then told them how they'd better give her fresh bread. As soon as she completed her order she told me how stupid fast food workers and how they never listen. Then when she got to the window she again chastised the workers and told them she was coming back if the bread wasn't fresh. I told her when we were driving away that they probably spit in her food. She gave me a thanks a lot. Look. In a way. She did me a favor because I hadn't realized how mean and selfish she was. Other aspects of her behavior started to make much more sense. A pretty face and a hot bod will only get you so far in life. Rule of thumb. Never talk to the people making your food before you get it. Flying from Vancouver, BC to Portland to meet her, then being texted that she would be too busy to meet up. He was too sarcastic and quite mean. Also, he just wouldn't take no for an answer. Turned out she actually just wanted to hook up with my dad. She even went as far as sending me nudes just so I could forward them to him. Turns out she was a lesbian. I saw a girl cut her toenails and eat them. That will never go out of my mind. When they couldn't decide between me and someone else. Duches. In 8th grade my crush of like 5 years told me that I was finally popular enough to talk to him. Boy bye. As horrific as that is. The RPG nerd in me is intrigued by the leveling system. Dude was super mean about kids. He just couldn't keep in a nasty comment whenever he saw one in public. I'm talking very uncomfortable. Sometimes violent comments. Then he'd look at me like he was expecting me to laugh at what he said. I think he was just being edgy, but it creeped me out. Like, I get not liking kids just fine, but holy hell. Did one kill your father or something? When he started bragging about how much money his ex-wife made and how he was looking for another woman to support him and his lifestyle. Gold digging ain't cute. I invited her to take a martial arts class with me that I had been doing for a while because she said she was interested in learning martial arts and self-defense. A week later or so, I came in early and saw her bent over my boxing coach's desk getting railed. Well, crap. Seeing her spit from chewing tobacco. She said she's gay. Haha, just kidding. The crush stayed. I'm just dead inside now. He was super rude to one of my friends for no reason. Not going to date someone who acts like that. Crush 1. I realized that her voice sounded like my mother's. Crush 2. Gorgeous. Green-eyed blonde. But as we went out sometimes, she lied too much and was far from bright. Crush 3. Hid a kid from me. Crush 4. I found out that she didn't shower very often. I think at least one time a day would be good. This one is by far the hardest turn off of all. Crush 3. Hid a kid from me. Did you ever find it again? This was in GR12 in 2003. Telling his guy friends about his sex with this girl in our grade. It was in class. It was a small class. I.e. Quiet. The teacher was out of the room. I was the only girl in the class. He was bad-mouthing how her vagina stunk. He was still a good-looking dude. But I lost all interest otherwise. He said, "Here comes the club of cows," when a group of slightly chubby girls neared the corner. Like, they weren't even that fat. Here comes the club of cows. Everyone knows it's heard. Sheesh. Her child was in the habit of spitting at me. Llamas. I found out she was real racist. We were talking about the Pulse nightclub shooting. I mentioned about how the shooter was homophobic and he said, well, most of the victims were probably straight anyway. A lot of straight people go to gay clubs. And then told me that bisexuality wasn't real, and when I got asked, or did I hurt your feelings? Very condescendingly. No idea why I ever liked that guy. Capital I. There's. But. What? She said she wasn't getting her baby vaccinated. His FB profile pic looked like one of those old iPod ads. But it said iPop with a cherry in the background. Hard pass. Had a crush on a guy in 4th grade, but it went away after finding out he beat up a younger kid for no reason. A few years later, he also would threaten younger kids going home on their bikes after they were done with their gymnastics or football legs. He threatened them by saying he would take their bikes. Guy spoke to me in an extremely condescending way. It just disgusted me. He was talking to me like I was a complete idiot for no reason at all. Bye. Evolution? Is that the monkey thing? Yeah. I don't believe that. This bitch don't know about Panji. She started just bashing fat people when we were walking around a park. First of all, it just shows you are a shallow prick to be bashing people when they are just there. They weren't interacting with us. They weren't doing anything wrong. You just had to bash them for simply existing. Second, these were people out at a park, walking around and getting exercise. Some were biking and others were playing volleyball. They are clearly out working on their issue and trying to live an active lifestyle. Major boner killer. I really liked her and every feeling I had went away and turned to hatred the second she did that. She was telling me about how she went off on her mom for putting her bread in the freezer. She even admitted she didn't want bread at the moment she found out. She was just mad that she froze it without asking. And then she went off on me when I said she probably overreacted and her mom didn't deserve to be yelled at that way. When he asked me for sex while in a relationship with someone else. Absolutely stunning girl first week at university. One of those people that literally leave you speechless at their beauty. Then she spoke. The most nasal Jersey accent ever. Sorry. But no. Just. No. I was on a bit of a double coffee date with a fraternity brother and 2 girls from our government class. On the way there, the one I was interested got cut off in traffic. She yells, "Oh, look at the sign. Comma. Hard R and everything." Everyone in the car was white. So was the man who cut her off. She tried to use that fact to claim that it wasn't a race thing. But I just made her buy my coffee and didn't speak to her again. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Whenever I see people's comments on stuff like these, I cannot stop wondering how many of these moments actually played out in a very different way and that the posters writing the comments were in the wrong. In reverse. 3rd grade. This girl had this huge crush on me. But EWW girls cuties. I told her while I thought she was cute that we were related and couldn't be girlfriend boyfriend. I didn't think I was capable of causing so much pain. She had 2 kids at age 19. See, he commented on and posted a lot of pro-life articles on Facebook. He was true to his beliefs though. Couple years later him and his GF moved back home because she accidentally got pregnant. I can appreciate the non-hypocrisy. I found out he smoked cigarettes. No idea how he managed to not smell like them constantly, but man, he could kill a pack of those cancer sticks fast. Not my thing. She said if we date, I can't have a dog. I mentioned that vaccines are free at government clinics in Ecuador and he said wow, congrats on wasting other people's money. Bitch, I pay taxes. And it's definitely worth it to prevent a yellow fever epidemic. Can't believe I ever liked that guy. Had sex with them. Suddenly all the personality flaws I had ignored came clear. Cleaning the pipes clears the brain. They were fictional. Don't use big words with me. I was an HS, he was hot AF. But as soon as he said that, all my attraction ran away. Anti-establishmentarianism. How you doing? Went to a party with her. Thought it was going to be one of the best nights of my young life. Lost her for a while and eventually found her shooting heroin. I'm pretty open to drugs. But I don't mess with needles. Never talked to her again. She had a friend-zone dude that followed her around everywhere. He even showed up at my house uninvited looking for her a few times. Dude even slept in the same room with her. As a matter of fact, I dealt with this dynamic with 2 different women. Turned out to be entitled and whiny. No thanks. Got stood up when they questioned the validity of my sexual assault story. Was really into this guy and we started seeing each other for a while in high school. Told me how crazy his ex was and talked a lot about her while we were together. Yet remained in contact with her behind my back. Immediate red flag when I found out they still talked, and I found out afterwards that he was still telling her he loved her and eyeing her. Oh. He also hit me when I argued with him about the ex. That was what made me really convinced that I needed to get out, and I kicked him to the curb. I had a crush in high school. 11th grade. On this girl. She was one of the few people who showed any interest in me. She was good people. I decided to go for it. Bought her some flowers. Told her how I felt. She told me she was flattered but wasn't interested in dating anyone at that moment. I was like, hey. That's cool. I get that. But I still had feelings for her. Until 2 days later she was dating this knob who then rubbed it in my face they were dating. It hurt that she lied to me. But what had me off was the guy she started dating was a complete asshole. It fixed that crush issue really quick. Nothing. Send help. When he said that, his mom said he was hung like a rhino. Maybe he made it up. But I don't think your mom should know how hung you are. Hey, good luck finding this answer. I'm not over any of my crushes. I can still fantasize about all of them. After she did much dancing around my flirting, I found out she seriously told a mutual friend that I was her boyfriend. And that she was married. When she started showing interest in me, Anyone who takes such an interest in me is obviously ed up in such a way that she can't be remedied. He knew I had a crush on him. We dug each other. We flirted like mad. And then came the winter thaw. When everyone started wearing short sleeve shirts again. I saw a tat of a baby and just above that, another tat of a woman on his arm. He started acting weird out of nowhere. When he'd see me. Yeah. Didn't know he had baggage. She came to school with a Duck Dynasty backpack. Thinking DUIs and driving under the influence not only is okay, but is funny. I'm sorry. But you wasn't a crush but thought a girl was hella cute at a college house party. She came and sat on my lap and we started chatting until breath like a young corpse. Treating wait staff poorly. Took her to breakfast and she picked up her plate so she could slurp the egg yolk. Nope. After 3 conversations, they started dumping all their issues on me. Buddy, we do not know each other well enough for you to be telling me this crap. And I am not your counselor. You have displayed bad judgment. Tuna out. I pray to God every day that you end all your conversations with tuna out. Seeing them trying really hard and failing to get a man at the club. He knew I was into her and she was trying to get me jealous because she saw me with my female friends. Being a hoe in front of me doesn't make me jealous, just makes me think you a hoe. Finding out she already is dating someone that I hated. He smelled funny. He wasn't dirty. He was hotter than hell but it was his natural scent. It just didn't click with me. I never thought this would be deal breaker but it was a true lack of chemistry. I have been married for almost 27 years to the guy I met after breaking up with the smell funny guy. And I still love the smell of my husband's neck when I nuzzle it. He doesn't wear cologne. It's just him. Turtles. Realized I was just lusting after a girl when I thought I loved her. Totally realized that mindset was toxic and causing me a lot of psychological agony. Never really talked to her again after that realization. When we were basically mutually crushing on each other. And then he drunkenly Snapchatted me with a bunch of his friends while shirtless screaming I love you, Lauren. Over and over. I was 16 and he was 18. But that I'd never been in a relationship. It really scared me away. In high school I dated a Mormon. He spent our last date treating me like I was super promiscuous because I have larger breasts and my dress showed a little cleavage. He even had me wear a tee to cover it up. He then asked me if I was cool with him having multiple wives. Rated the Disney Pixar film Up with 1 star. I mean, who would hate Up? I noticed that he would wear the same boxers all week. Then I was told that he didn't use body wash. Just let the shampoo run down to wash himself. Got pretty turned off after that. Liked a girl for years. Then when I'm about to ask her out, find out she had a drug problem. Sorry. I realized I was in love too much. I got jealous and angry. Then I immediately realized this shouldn't be happening and I started to better myself before I get in any relationship. There was this one guy who I had a crush on sophomore and junior year. But it stopped senior year. Over the summer. He'd gone to Hollywood and done some minor TV gigs there. So when he came back, he was super full of himself. He even flaked out on a show in the middle of rehearsals so he could go be in an episode of a Nickelodeon show. Felt nothing for him that year. It's still weird when I see him on TV shows or commercials. He even flaked out on a show in the middle of rehearsals so he could go be in an episode of a Nickelodeon show. Not sure you should blame him for this. The Nick show would mean possible career advancement. And some money, as compared to what? A school play? When I realized she was not too bright. Proof that light travels faster than sound. People appear bright until you hear them speak. We were walking to a concert after drinking at the park. And he threw his beer can on the grass. I asked him WTF he was doing and told him to pick it up and he said not to worry. Homeless people will pick it up. I stopped and picked it up and he just let me carry it without saying anything until I found a recycling can. Also, I live in Hawaii, so littering in our parks is probably though of as a bigger sin than it would be elsewhere since our natural environment drives the whole economy here. When she pulled out a cig, he turned out to be a white supremacist. Bye. Edit. Since some of you have some weird views of what white supremacy is, let me clarify with some gems that came out of his mouth and made my ovaries high behind my lungs. So supported a Planned Parenthood being put next to a predominantly black area so that they would have access to abortion and not reproduce. So flat out told me he believed that white people with blonde hair were the master race. He was serious. So screamed a variety of racist slurs out of his car at an old Asian couple. So got a swastika facing the same way Hitler used it on his chest. I found out all of this within a span of 2 days, including witnessing the slurs being hurled at the old couple minding their own business.